I thought it was Piedmont High School.
Hi, Steve. Besides obviously just providing another scorer on the floor, when Draymond is aggressive like that on offense, what does that do for your team?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a stat somewhere. Raymond's got it for sure. You know, when he scores a certain number of points, we usually win. You know, he's when he's aggressive like that, looking to attack, it definitely adds another dimension to our team. And I loved his approach to the game tonight. He was aggressive right from the start. Picked up a foul on the first play, and you know, didn't care. Like, made no bones about it. He's like, I'm coming, and I thought he was one of the keys for sure.
You stayed with Payton, obviously in the starting lineup, but I think he's plus 25 in this game. What does he do for you, specifically against the Lakers, that's kind of triggering some of this?
Well, I mean, Gary's a game changer, and we knew that last year. I mean, we don't win the championship without Gary, and so to get him back has completely changed our defense. And you know, against these guys, he's got the ability to get into their guards. They have great guard play with D'Lo and Reeves and Schroeder. Obviously, Walker last game played so well. So Gary gives us you know, someone who can get underneath their ball handlers and at least make them, you know, have to work. And then offensively, he's so unique with his speed and his ability to finish around the rim. So it's just we're a different team, you know, now that he's back with us.
Steve, go ahead, CJ.
Hey, Steve, kind of circling back to Kendra's note on aggression, what does an aggressive Andrew Wiggins do for you guys offensively?
Yeah, this was the best game Wiggs has played since he's been back, you know, over, I guess, three weeks or so now. He the way he attacked, the way he got to the rim, that adds another dimension to our attack. I thought the last couple games in LA, you know, we didn't get to the line a ton. We settled for a lot of stuff, and I thought Wiggs did a good job of really being aggressive.
Steve, back here. Steph has 22 assists the last 2 games. Obviously hasn't shot well from 3 by his standards. But how essential has that been, his sort of playmaking, and how much is that a function of the way the Lakers are defending you guys?
Yeah, it's a little of both. I mean, you know, I think Steph at this point in his career, he really feels, you know, what needs to happen during a game, what's required of him. And you saw it in Game 7 against Sacramento, where he knew he had to score, took 38 shots. In this series, you know, the Lakers' defense is really good. They're great at the rim. We got to get the ball moving. We got to move their defense around, and Steph understands that. And I don't know what his assist to turnover ratio is in this series, but it's pretty impressive.
Hey, Steve, you saw Draymond say on his pod, all we have to do is win one game, and then the entire tenor of the series changes, and the pressure is back on the Lakers. Obviously, every single time you guys have gone to the playoffs, basically, you know, since the Big Three has been together, you guys have reached the finals. Is there always a belief, like no matter what situation you guys are in, just because of that you guys can get through it all? Yeah,
I think there's always that belief based on, you know, the success these guys have had and the confidence they've built up together, the continuity. So, you know, I think our guys were disappointed we couldn't wrap up Game 4 after playing pretty well for most of the game. But now we get another crack to go down there and you know, try to even up the series. So the guys will always have belief. That's who they are.
Steve, there was a sequence in the fourth quarter where Andrew was picking up LeBron almost full court, knocked the ball away. It wound up with Draymond blocking Anthony Davis. Just kind of take me through that sequence and what's it like to see their defense lead to offense on the other side.
Yeah, well, you know, Wiggs, we ask so much of him defensively in any playoff series. He's going to end up on, you know, the opponent's best wing player. So in this series, that's obviously LeBron, and you know, thank God we've got Wiggs because he, you know, he can play all night. He can pressure up the court. He can guard in the half court and stay in front of people. And on that particular play, he picked up LeBron really high, and then Draymond was behind the play to help him out. So it's a big sequence.
Hey, Coach. Klay Thompson had 10 points tonight, 3 of 12 from the field, 2 of 6 from 3, but he's plus 16 on tonight. So can you kind of just tell me your perspective on how Klay played tonight? Do you think it was a really good Klay performance, or do you think you need more for Game 6?
No, I mean, it's the thing with Klay is he's an incredible two-way basketball player, and that's what wins in the playoffs. Shooting comes and goes, even for the best. But if you can defend, which Klay obviously can do, then you can help a team win a playoff game, and in Klay's case, a lot of playoff games. And so the great thing is we know Klay's due for a good shooting night, but whether it comes or not, we know his defense is going to impact the game, as you said, plus 16 in 37 minutes. So he's doing a great job out there.
Steve, AD's obviously had a huge impact on the series. You guys end up with 50 points in the paint tonight, pulled him away a little bit. How did you feel about handling that impact? And are there times when, as great as he is, that you guys need to be more aggressive at the rim? Seems like there's just a lot of playing through.
Yeah, I mean, he's so good that you have to try to move him around. And, they did some different things tonight. They started switching more on pick and rolls. But Davis is a guy that you've got to find the right balance. You have to respect his presence at the rim, but you also can't shy away from it. So you got to understand if you have an angle to attack, you got to take it. And if he's there waiting, and that's a great time to make a jump stop and swing the ball to the other side. And I thought our guys did a pretty good job of navigating that tonight.
You mentioned the need to move them around, move him around defensively. Also, obviously, the pick and roll has been an effective strategy in this series. They switch too, as you mentioned. How do you balance wanting to move them around with your traditional motion stuff with, obviously, I guess going heavier pick and roll?
Well, that's sort of the game. For us in the playoffs is we traditionally play a lot more pick and roll in the playoffs, and we didn't go as heavy tonight on that as we did in Game 4. But it's always a blend. A lot of what we do is after the pick and roll. So if Steph doesn't have a shot, it's the movement that results from moving the defense around, and maybe the ball swings and Klay gets a jumper, or Jordan, or Wiggs. So it's still whatever you do, whether it's motion offense or pick and roll, you're still just trying to get a reaction and draw two defenders and then move the ball. And if our spacing is good and we're making good decisions, and we can be effective either way.
Steve, you guys were obviously one loss away from elimination, but with Draymond, you've said this to me the other night. You were saying that when he doesn't play well, you guys lose. He always comes back. Tonight, did you anticipate this was going to come from him early on? I mean, did you see it beforehand, or did you sense it?
I think you just expect it in a situation like this, where you're facing elimination. Draymond is one of the great competitors I've ever been around, so you just expect him to bring it. I didn't say anything to him. He doesn't need any pep talks from me, that's for sure.
Steve, to follow up with that, great energy today, and it's been tough to bottle that up and then take that down to LA. But in this case, do you think, well, not do you think, but in your coaching strategy, would you pull Draymond aside and talk about his, how great he did today, and just kind of replicate that for Game 6?
I think that's what coaching is about. It's not just drawing up plays or figuring out the strategy. It's just communication, and whatever I feel a player needs to hear, whether it's from me or somebody on our staff, then we try to make sure we communicate that. And Draymond and I we've known each other 9 years now, so we have a good feel for each other, and I think we see the game in a very similar manner, and so we talk all the time. This is I say it a lot. This is a collaboration, and a lot of times in film sessions, the players will speak up and we'll make a decision based on how they feel, and that's how this works. So we gotta make sure we keep that connection going. All right.
Go ahead. Just speaking of what guys need to hear, what did Jordan Poole need to hear after the last game, and sort of how he came back in this one?
I think Jordan, I'm not sure what he needed to hear. I think what Jordan knows is that our guys support him. Our guys love him. Coaches, teammates. He's a great young guy. Everybody loves being around him. He's had a lot of success, and this year has been up and down. And so his teammates just want him to know that they're there for him, and that's what it's about. I thought he was much more aggressive and under control tonight. No turnovers. He really looked to score and get his shot going. He looked a lot more like himself tonight, and I think all the guys are happy to see that because we know he's capable of so much.
Great, thank you.
All right, thanks.
Been like for you so far? Oh, sorry, Connor. What was that? You went from being out of the rotation to being a key part of the rotation within this series. So, what's that been like for you?
No, you're never out of rotation with Steve. I know they have different game plans and different adjustments, when needed after a game. Next game's always a different game and, a different look. So it's just our job to stay ready. And, when he throws me in, got to get to it.
Draymond, Steph, and Klay might be like the most resilient trio in a long time, just like their will to never give up kind of thing. I mean, what's that like for you to play alongside them and to see them show up the way that they did it on the brink of elimination? Like Dre said, they're champions, so, everybody's after them all the time, and, they don't want to go out, 4-1 in a series that we know that, it should be a fight. So just to have them and to know that, with them three, you're never out of a game. It just gives, everybody else just that urge and that fire, just to dig in,
When they have Davis on you, and I mean, your guys' game plan obviously is to make you the screener. What do you feel like your job is in those situations?
Just give Steph some separation, make him switch, and then get space again and watch him work, and then, cut when needed, and then give him an outlet when he needs it.
How does it, when they switched in the second half, they went switch heavy, how does that impact, I guess, the chessboard?
Oh, no, we just bring AD up. If he's not guarding me, somebody else, whoever he's guarding, put him in action, set the screen, so he can get the switch.
Gary, so how did you feel when you first were told that you were going to be in the starting lineup, and then with that, how did you adjust your game? Because obviously you're on the big stage, and your defense is something that they depend on quite a bit. And how did you just incorporate all of that, and how are you feeling about just being here doing what you do?
Like you said, I'm just doing my job. When he says I got to start, I just got to do it earlier and then later. So, just come out and be myself and, get to it. There's really no change or nothing. It's just I'm coming in earlier than usual.
Hey, Gary, Draymond, he picked up a foul 20 seconds into the game, but he was still chirping with AD. He was still super into it, intense. Does that just kind of spark you guys when you see him out there just kind of, doing his thing?
As Draymond being Draymond, as long as it don't get crazy, we all got his back, and we let him talk, try to keep the refs out of it, and, let him do what he does.
Gary, in a game that you knew you needed to come out fast, how key was the 17-5 start to get you guys flowing in the right direction?
No, it was good. Like we've been trying to say, we just got to hit first, hit second, hit third, keep hitting. They're going to make runs, just limit their runs and, maximize ours. And like I said, it's a game of runs, so you just try to limit their runs as much as possible.
Hey, Gary, over here, I know you had kind of had a little bit of a moment, so to speak, at the beginning of Game 4. How are you feeling physically now after playing 27 minutes? And, You feel like you're ready to rock for Game 6?
No, yeah, I'm good. I just had to throw up a little bit real quick. Come right back. It was reminded me of school, kind of. You know, you got to rally, so get it out, rally again. I was fine after, so it was good.
Hey, Gary. Draymond talked about you guys being aggressive on both ends of the floor, and for guys like you and Draymond and Wiggs who are guarding LeBron, D'Lo, the guys you weren't really stopped. Can you try to put into words how much energy it takes to be able to do that on defense and then also do what you have to do on offense?
Yeah, it probably takes quite a bit out of us, but you know, with the adrenaline and we know what type of game this is, you got to go. So, you know, limit their touches, and then once we get it, magically we find energy on the other end. So we get it, we sprint down there and, you know, try to make them work and come down and communicate and talk to each other and, you know, try to make us a unit on the defensive end, so we don't got to, you know, like you said, use so much energy. We can talk to each other and have each other's back.
Gary, you said it reminded you of school. I mean, I threw up before every AAU tournament. So is it nerves? Is it excitement? How far back does this go? You said school.
No. Game 4 was just a bad lunch. But back to school, you know, we got like beer Olympics and stuff. So you can't fall out early in there. So you got to rally. You got to get it out and come back and rally. So yeah, it just reminded me of Oregon State a little bit. Go Bees.
Thanks for explaining.
We good? You guys are great. Have a good night.
I ain't no killer to push me.
Hey, Dre.
Hello. Hi, Melissa. How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm good.
So you went on your pod. You were real calm. You said all we have to do is win one game. We win one game, the whole tenor of the series switches. The pressure's on them. Then they do not want to face us in Game 7. How have you been able to just basically every time you guys have been to the playoffs, you guys reach the finals? You've never lost to a Western Conference opponent.
Mm-hmm.
How have you been able to sort of channel that confidence and just have such a deep belief regardless of what you guys have faced?
Well, I think, number one, we have a coach who's one of the greatest winners in NBA history, and you lean on him in situations like this. His calmness, everyone feels that. And then it starts up top, right? Steph's calmness, and it goes on down the line. And I think for us, you know, anytime it's kind of going astray, you just always lean back on what you know that works, on your foundation. And for us, it's just getting back to the basics, but most importantly, competing at the highest level that we can compete at. And, you know, we trust and believe in ourselves. And as far as, you know, win one, we did that. Now, you know, going back home, they're going to give us the best shot they've given all series. And, you know, when you go home, role players play better, everyone plays better at home. So it's going to be us to go in kind of with the same mindset that we went into Game 4 with. But when we get the opportunity again that we had in Game 4, close the deal. We didn't close well at all in Game 4. And, you know, it's on us to go and take the game. They're not going to give it to us. They're going to come out and play aggressive. They have great leaders over there and incredible winners. Their coach is a champion. LeBron's a champion. AD's a champion. You know, they're not going to just fold, but it's going to be on us to go in there and take it.
Draymond, you came out just seeming like a little extra fiery today. You know that guys feed off that energy. Did you make a point to set a tone, or did you feel like that was on you to set a tone early, especially scoring?
I definitely wanted to come out and set a tone. Jacob Rubin told me before the game, like, you've played well, but I still haven't felt your presence like I know you can feel, like your presence should be felt. And, you know, that's coming out aggressive, both ends of the floor. That's verbally, so everyone hears you on the floor. And, you know, I felt a little disrespected when he said it. So, you know, I knew it was on me to come out and, like you said, set the tone for our guys, come out aggressive. Season's on the line, back against the wall. You got to come out and give all that you got. And that was just my mindset coming into this game, and that'll be my mindset going into the next one.
And Draymond, you definitely had one of your better games tonight, and you said before heading to LA, you know, you got to just focus and stay the course. But how do you bottle this energy for you as the last 2 games in LA have not been your best?
I mean, just go out with the same mindset. Aggressive on both sides of the floor. Attacking. I think for me that was my mindset from the from the gate, to just attack. Whether I was shooting a 3, whether it was going to the hole, whether it was defensively, just attack. And that has to be it will be my same mindset going into LA. As our job isn't done. We're still facing elimination, and we'll be facing elimination for the rest of this series. So got to have the same mindset. Back against the wall, you got to come out fighting.
Draymond, you've always said that you can always get your offense whenever, but this offense that you play in suggests that you facilitate 2 other guys. But during this postseason, you have been a lot more aggressive in the last series and going into this series, trying to look for your shot. What have you seen in this postseason that suggests that you need to be more aggressive and shoot more?
Just how teams are keying on Steph and Klay. They're really doing all that they can, selling out to those guys and trying to take them out of the game. And, we get paid a lot of money to do this, so you can't just sit back and watch them like, oh, man, they're taking them out, and just sit back and watch. You got to do something about it. And so for me, I know it's on me to have that same aggression. And Andrew Wiggins as well. Wiggs was aggressive as hell tonight. And, when they're guarding those guys the way they've been guarding them, we have to come out with that aggressiveness. And I think we did a really good job of it tonight and have to take the show on the road.
You guys would be kind of considered more anti-pick and roll than most of the league. Obviously, this matchup has dictated you run a lot more of that. How do you strike the balance of when you guys need do kind of your traditional stuff compared to when you kind of got to go more pick and roll heavy than maybe you even like to do?
We just lean on coach. He comes in with a game plan. His game plans has never failed us up until this point. So if he comes in, he say, hey, we're going heavy pick and roll tonight, that's what we're doing. If he comes in and say, yo, we're going back more to our regular sets, that's what we're doing, and we trust his adjustments. He's one of the best ever at making playoff adjustments. And so for us, it's all about taking what the defense gives you and what's working. And, we found some success there, so you don't want to necessarily go away from it. And just keep on using the things that we've been using until they're able to stop it.
Draymond, to your point about the Lakers selling out to stop Steph, the Kings did that to some extent, and he took 38 shots, scored 50 points in Game 7. Last 2 games, he hasn't shot that well from 3, but he's got 22 assists, particularly sort of creative assists sometimes. I'm curious about your thoughts on the impact of his passing and how that's sort of controlled the pace of these last 2 games.
Well, he's been incredible passer forever. His shot and the way he scores the ball is so incredible that kind of just goes by the wayside as far as getting acknowledgement. But we know he's capable of passing the ball, and he's been finding guys. And if he gets past one defender, they're sending 4. And they're not just sending a help man; they're sending all 4 guys. And he's always a willing passer. He's been making the pass, and guys have been aggressive in either getting layups, getting to the rim, or knocking shots down. And, he's just been controlling the pace and the tempo of the game, getting it to where he wants it. When he wants to sped up, he's speeding it up. When he wants to slow it down, he's slowing it down. And we're going to need him to continue to do that these next 2.
What did you think of Andrew tonight?
He was great. Super incredible, super aggressive on the offensive side. And, it's what we need from him. He is, sometimes our second scorer, sometimes our third scorer, depending on the night. And we always need that aggressiveness. I also thought his aggressiveness on the defensive side of the ball was great as well. He met force with force, put up a lot of resistance. And, when two-way Wiggs, when he's playing like that, we're very tough to beat.
Hey, Draymond, 7 years ago, you guys faced a similar situation heading into Oklahoma City in Game 6 on the road. I know it's been a while, but what do you recall about your mentality heading into that game, and how much can you draw from that experience going into Los Angeles?
You always try to draw from those experiences. You look back, and I think, experience in life is, no matter what the situation is, we all look to that experience when our backs are against the wall. And, just understanding, like, that OKC game didn't go our way the whole game. If I remember correctly, we were down like 15 points or something in the third quarter, and Klay went apeshit. And you just got to keep fighting. And knowing that this team is going to come out and give us their best punch. And you got to take that punch and respond. And if you respond, they'll punch again, and you have to respond again. And, if you can do that, then the game tends to flip your way. And so we'll be expecting their best. That's an incredible team led by incredible players and an incredible coach. So they'll come out and they'll be aggressive. We'll come out and we have to be aggressive from the gate and try to get the game at the pace and tempo that we want it at and try to impose our will on the game.
Draymond, you were just talking about how aggressive Andrew was and kind of two-way Wiggs. There was a sequence in the fourth quarter where he started picking up LeBron super high. You finished with the block on Anthony Davis. Just kind of wanted to tell you about when Wiggins is picking up LeBron like that and how the defense leads to the offense between you two.
He just not backing down from the challenge. We all know, LeBron and his playmaking ability, how, the force that he gets downhill with. But Wiggs met that challenge. And like I said, he met force with force. And, with him picking up LeBron like that, we just know we have to build a wall behind him. And Brown was able to get to the paint. I stepped up and forced a drop off and was able to get back to AD and get the dunk. But, when you got a guy like that putting his body on the line, giving all the energy and effort that it takes to, when you're guarding LeBron up there, he's bumping you. He's not just like most guards would just try to dribble and get around. He's hitting you with body. That takes a lot of energy. So when you got a guy like that that's expending that amount of energy, as a teammate, you have to be ready to go behind him. You can't allow him to spend that energy and then just give up something easy behind the play. So for us, we were ready. Once he started picking up, we built the wall, and then, we just played and was able to make some plays.
Draymond, what do you think GP2's brought this starting lineup?
Athleticism. As we know, GP is athletic, and obviously he's an incredible defender. And just his force on the ball, his dives to the rim has been absolutely incredible. Me and Loon always call GP a small five. He plays way bigger than his size, and he's been incredible finishing around the rim. I think he hit a couple threes tonight, 1 3 tonight. But he was super aggressive and on both sides of the ball, and it's opened the floor up some, and it's made us a lot better.
Hey, Draymond, whenever Coach Izzo is in the building, you seem to play really well. Is that a coincidence? And what does it mean to you to have him come, and be such a faithful follower of your game?
That's my guy. I think you all know the love that I have for Coach Izzo. When he takes time out of his schedule to come out here and support me, I try to play my best. And, I'm not crazy enough to think that, we got another guy on the other side, Max Christie, as well. But Max should know Coach Izzo was here because I was playing and not him. No, I was just playing. But, when he's in the building, just always lights a fire under me, and I'm always appreciative of him taking the time out of his schedule, man. He got so many things going on, fundraiser here, this thing there, recruiting here, plus coaching a team and running a program, family, just a million things going on. And, I just try to show my appreciation for his presence with my effort when he does come.
Okay. So I only asked because you mentioned how Klay was a big factor in how you guys dug yourselves out of the last 3-1 hole that you were in. And tonight, you mentioned earlier how they try to take Klay and Steph out of the offense. And tonight, they kind of succeeded when it came to Klay's shooting, but he still finished the game plus 16, so he had an impact, which Coach Kerr said that was definitely on the defensive end, but he also said that he's due for a big shooting night. Do you think that Game 6 is the night you guys need that from him? And if so, do you think there's any pressure on Klay to do that for you guys? And if not?
We're champions, so there's pressure every time you step on the floor. You go out there, you don't win, people ready to crush you, people forget about the things that you've done in the past immediately. And so it's always pressure when we step on the floor. I do think he's due for a big shooting night. You're talking about a guy who's arguably one of the greatest shooters ever that we've ever seen. And he steps up in big moments. Tonight he wasn't able to get his shot going, but defensively he was all over the place. And then his presence on the floor, like regardless if he's making or missing shots, you're going to guard him like he's making shots, because if he hits one, you know the flurry can come. And so, still the spacing that he brings on the court when he's not shooting well, is a bonus and benefit for our offense. And, if I hope they start helping off of him since he's not shooting well, because he'll get it going fast. So, hopefully he does have a big game on Friday. But if he doesn't, we need his effort. We need his presence. And it's still on all of us to go out there and do what we got to do to get a win.
Hi, Andrew. Steve has mentioned in recent weeks just how much your defense, good, stingy, strong defense by everybody, leads to great chances on the offensive end. And how much was that a key in this game? I mean, you and Draymond just, taking it to those guys, and Gary too.
I mean, it's a focus. You lock in. You play good defense. You're going to give yourself a great chance to win the game and, take control of the game. Lakers have a lot of, great talent, but we just got to make it hard for them, keep doing that.
When you rewatched the last game, I mean, did you feel you weren't as aggressive as offensively as you should have been?
For sure. I felt at times I definitely could have been more aggressive. Just looking for my shot more, especially looking to just get downhill, whether it's to score or create.
This has turned in for you guys a pretty heavy pick and roll series, included, obviously they put Davis on you, so you're the screener some of the times. What's it like just, I don't know, how different is your offensive role in the series, and are you kind of figuring that out?
Yeah, it's the playoffs. Every game's going to be different. Every series is going to be different. And I feel like the good thing about this team is that we have a bunch of versatile players that can, do a lot of different things, whether it's screening and diving, popping out, finishing around the rim, shooting. I feel like we have a very versatile team.
And Andrew, everybody talks about Gary's, defense, obviously, but he's a really efficient offensive player too. How much has he kind of just changed the dynamic of the series when, being inserted into the starting lineup?
He's a game changer, for sure. 'Cause he's going to make the right plays, the right reads on offense, and his defense speaks for itself. He's a lockdown defender. It doesn't matter who he's guarding, he locks in. Oh yeah, his offense, he's always going to make the right play. He's going to make that open shot around the rim, dunk you, finish. He's talented on both sides.
Hey, Andrew. Steph said that he loved that you got up 18 shots, and he said that it was kind of sometimes on your teammates to try to get you the ball and help get you going. You seem like a pretty laid-back guy, but are there ever times during the game where you think, hey, I've got a mismatch, hey, I've got it going, and you have to kind of demand the ball a little bit?
We have a talented team. We have a lot of guys that can, put the ball up and, score the ball. So, just asserting myself, being aggressive, from the start and, just making my presence,
Andrew, you're LeBron's main defender, and it seems like a few times tonight you were trying to push him full court, maybe tire him out. What's the strategy on that, considering you want to be aggressive with him defensively, but you don't want to put him in a position where he's going downhill and compromising the defense?
I feel like, just be aggressive. If I see him taking the ball out, just, pick up. It's a long game, and, even if I put myself in a bad spot, I trust my teammates behind me to have my back.
Do you sense fatigue with him in games?
I feel like you never really know. You could think he's tired, then the next play he might come down and get a putback dunk, and, you just never know.
Andrew, Steph and Klay and Draymond have been down 3-1 before you guys were heading into this. What kind of tone do they set heading into this that sort of stood out to you?
The confidence, how confident they are, and, encouraging and just making everyone, believe that, we can do this, just day by day, game by game, possession by possession, just giving ourselves a fighting chance.
How much did that inspire you? And obviously, maybe looking at the film, that helped you get more aggressive offensively. But mentally, where were you at heading into this?
I was locked in. I was locked in. I feel like the whole team was, was do or die now. So we have nothing to lose but to, fight.
You ever been a screener this much in your career?
I feel like in the Boston series last year, I was screening a lot too. So,
was that? Do you remember specifically the schematics in that series? Was that they were switching some?
I couldn't tell you. I'm not too sure.
Do you? I mean, is it? Maybe you can go back to that series. But is that different for you? I mean,
it's definitely different, but I don't mind it. I feel like it's another way to get involved in the play and make something happen.
Got you.
Andrew, Coach Kerr said this is probably the best game you played since you came back from your extended absence. Do you agree with that? And did it take a little while, maybe just get a rhythm after missing 2 months?
For sure. I feel like it's probably been my best game back. Just all around, and defensively, offensively, and just doing things, push forward and get the win.
Hey Andrew. Yes, you were out for a while, and since you're back, you're almost like playing every other day. So how do you feel, like how your legs are?
I feel good. I feel like everyone at this point in the season's all banged up and bruised. But I feel good. Not fresh, but, good enough to compete and, try to, get another title.
Cool, thank you. Nothing here tomorrow.
Steph, how much emphasis was it to play as fast as you possibly can, to just kind of run it at them as much as possible? Maybe not just for this game, but knowing that they've got a couple of guys that they really rely on, and maybe to get them running too.
I think it's up to mostly me, Draymond, JP when he's out there to do that, to push the pace. It's important just because they're at times a big team with AD. He puts a lot of pressure on you on the offensive end, so you try to create whatever advantage you can. That's a big thing, and part of that is just trying to keep them off the foul line as much as possible, just because that slows the game down and gives them free points, and they get to set their defense. So you want to get stops, but even if they do score, that is our advantage in the series, is our speed and the fact that I can push, Draymond can push, JP can push. We got guys running the lane in transition, space on the floor, so it's hard to do, but it helps us counter what they do well.
Steph, apart from the conversations that you guys are going to have as a team, that you're going to have with the coach, what are you going to do to prepare yourself to take this momentum following to Game 6 in LA and be able to bring it back home on Sunday?
I think just kind of take stock of what's happened Game 3, 4, and tonight, what we've done well. Like even the mental preparation is, understanding that we've played well enough down there to have won, both of those games. I know Game 3 was a blowout, but the first half, like there was a lot of good that we showed, and then obviously Game 4, knowing how that went. So accepting, our shortcomings there, but also understanding, we can make the necessary adjustments to hopefully get off to a good start in Game 6, give ourselves some momentum, put some pressure on them. And bring the effort and the competitiveness and the same fire we had tonight. So, that's the game plan, and again, just get lost in the game down there because it's going to be a fun atmosphere.
Do you like it when a playoff series dictates you guys run more pick and roll? I mean, obviously we know, traditionally what you guys like to do, but is it fun when it kind of demands it more?
It's more the narrative of just how hard it is to win 4 games in any series and the different adjustments that you have to make. Like, we've been in however many, 29, 8, 30, whatever series it's been since this run started. Whether we've swept the team or gone to 7 or lost, like it's always that game-to-game kind of adjustment that you love the most. Whatever the answer is, doesn't really matter. So, and we're also capable of playing a lot of different ways because of our personnel and the way that we do things. So yeah, I like it all, to be honest. You just try to figure it out.
Steve over here. Steve said that at this point in your career, you really feel what needs to happen, what's required of you, whether that's 38 shots in Game 7 in Sacramento, 22 assists these last 2 games. How much better do you feel that than you did early in your career, maybe in 2015 at the start of this run? And how's it different kind of satisfaction when you are setting up your teammates as opposed to making 7 or 8 threes?
Yeah, it's the body of work that you can kind of tap into to, again, know how many different scenarios and situations that you've been in that I can build, tap into that confidence that I can do whatever the game requires. Yeah, I just love this stage, so much, and not afraid of anything that's going to happen and the outcome. It's just, again, getting lost in the game and understanding the versatility of being able to play a lot of different ways, and the confidence that I've been able to do it for a long time. So, and the trust that I have in my teammates to be along that journey with me. So, it's nice and blessed to be able to keep doing it even at this stage in your career. So, I don't want it to stop anytime soon.
Steph, with AD and his defensive impact, I don't remember seeing a guy that has created this kind of hesitation for your whole group around the rim. If you look at the series before tonight, were there times when maybe all of you look at the film and were there overcorrections? Were there just a lot of times when you see opportunities where because of the impact he's having, there's second guessing happening, and then why was tonight different?
He's a great defensive player. Like, he's smart, he's got size, he can move his feet. They have a certain system that tries to funnel everything to the paint where he's usually standing and disrupting a lot. After game 1, you just had to feel it, for 48 minutes just to understand it was totally different than the Sacramento series. Like, they didn't have anybody with that type of presence. But there's also counters to it, and you got to trust that that you can create a good shot even with his abilities out there. You still get kind of lulled into it from time to time. Just that's how basketball goes, and he makes some amazing plays. But when we're decisive and we're organized in terms of our spacing and understanding you might not get all the way to the basket because he's down there, but somebody's going to be open and there's going to be another option. When we're locked in like that, good things happen. You look at the last 3 minutes of Game 4, like we kind of abandoned the things that were helping us, and you see the results. So it's just a matter of just being mindful of what you're trying to do at all times, knowing that he is a great enough defender that it requires it.
Quickly to that point, did you find something tonight? Does it feel like you found something with him?
No, it was more of the same of what we've done through the good parts of Game 3 and 4, mostly 4. So just gotta continue. You have to make him work. Like, he's gonna make plays, and whether it's in the pick and roll or whether it's off the ball. But when we're organized, good things happen.
Steph, Draymond, back in Game 5 against the Kings, Draymond scored 20 points. Tonight, he scored 20 points. Besides just giving you another scorer, what does it do for the team when he's just being aggressive and attacking like that?
It just keeps everything balanced in terms of countering what teams try to do to take away our threes, our clean looks at the three-point line, driving lanes, where help defense is usually coming from. And I told him every play he made tonight, like, I love that aggressive nature because it just keeps the defense honest, and he's capable of making plays. So the first 3 was big to kind of get everybody's morale up, the emotions high. But then he was assertive, getting into the paint, finishing at the rim. He had a big shot in the 4th off of kind of a late second broken play, timely baskets, and you have to keep the defense honest so they can't kind of load up, other places.
Steph, so how much do you like the Andrew Wiggins, the aggressive, he shoots three and attack the rings a lot?
It's the best version of who he is and how he can impact games. He played great defense all night on Bron, even though he made some tough shots. Like you said, the rebounds, the offensive aggressiveness, him getting up 18 shots is huge. We need that every night. And it's on us as a team to feature him too, at certain points of the game because he has such an athlete and he can create his own shot. Gotta feed it to him and let him do what he does.
Steph, at the start of the series, it was you guys were throwing flowers at each other. LeBron, Steph, you guys, your longevity, everything else, and now it seems like Steve is talking a little bit about how the Lakers play. Darvin's talking a little bit about how you guys play. Do you feel like it's getting a little chippy? Does it feel like a chippy, more physical playoff series to this point?
I've seen it way worse. But the more you play a team, the more stuff comes out, and the power of this microphone and the gamesmanship back and forth, like it's all a part of it. Nothing that is surprising, even from game to game. So, there's respect, but there's competition, and everything is catered to just trying to win 4 games. That's what you expect. So, yeah.
As a quick follow-up, do you anticipate AD will play Game 6?
I have no idea what happened to him and what his situation is, so I would say yes, but I have no idea.
Great. We'll have Andrew Wiggins in.